appreciate everyone making the time to be here today. I realize your lunch hour is valuable, so appreciate you carving it out for us. I'm Eric Hernais, the CEO of TeamMate Technology, and I'll be taking you through the new products that we're launching today. Also on the webinar are some folks from my team. We have Eric Tiffany, who's our subject matter expert on everything Teams. We have Zoltan Rapasi, he's our VP of Engineering, Kristen from our onboarding department, and I believe we also will have, Ted Stuckberry from Scipio, our partner in the Operator Connect Express product, has joined us as well. So we'll have some time at the end for Q&A, but my goal is to keep this presentation concise. So it'll just be the basics. Of course, if there's any interest on your part to learn more, we can schedule a one-on-one to get into the details. So with that, I will begin. So from its inception, TeamMate's goal has always been to create integration products that allow service providers to make the most of Microsoft Teams. That is specifically to be able to monetize Teams. Teams is a very powerful collaboration platform. It's not necessarily built for for resale or for service providers to use. We try and fill the gaps and make it something that can actually add to your product portfolio. For those of you who are not currently customers, TeamMate has been around since 2019. Our flagship product is a tool called the PBX connector that allows you to register Microsoft Teams as a soft phone, in essence, onto your own UCaaS, PBX, or SIP compliant call control, basically extending the features of your call control server into Microsoft Teams. We also offer a SIP trunk connector, essentially direct routing as a service, as well as an SMS connector that allows you to synchronize SMS and MMS messages into a native Teams chat. As with everything we do, we make these capabilities available to you with the needs of service providers in mind, which means that they're brandable, channel-friendly, and most importantly, easily serviceable. Our new products, which we'll go over today, Teams Call Recorder, Teams Chat Connector, and Operator Connect Express, as well as the future products that I might mention in the presentation, are all being built with the idea of extending the suite of services we offer to provide even more ways for you to monetize Microsoft Teams as an enhancement and an extension to your core business. Okay, so to get started, the first product I'll talk about is our new Teams Call Recorder. This is a native Teams application that can be used for compliance purposes, to assist in employee training or customer support, anywhere where you need to get the voice from a Microsoft Teams session. Because it's a native Teams application, which means that it lives inside Teams, it's able to access all the voice activity within Teams. So not just PSTN calls, but also regular Teams meetings, such as this one, as well as Teams to Teams voice calls, and even federation calls, so between two different Teams enterprises that are able to connect to each other. Now, most of you already offer your own call recording offerings. That ability to get into Teams for the other non-PSTN calls is really what sets this product apart, and it makes it something that is a go-to, is really a must-have if you have Teams customers, right? Because although they may be using you for Teams integration to the PSTN, they certainly will need a recording platform for non-PSTN calls. And so if they're not buying it from you, they're buying it from somebody else, here's a great opportunity for you to offer a new product that ties into Teams and also ties into your other services. So we've developed it, like everything else, to be affordable and flexible when you compare it to other products in the market. The flexibility comes from the fact that the storage of call recordings can be done either in the organization's, the customer's SharePoint, or in TeamMate's cloud storage. So typically, the storage component is a not insignificant factor in terms of the cost, and so this allows you to you know put that back onto the customers. Um, an important part of the solution is it has an integrated app that allows a Teams user to so to start with, when the service is provisioned, you're able to create through our provisioning portal a policy that says all of a particular users or group of users calls need to be recorded. Once that policy is in place, then of course all calls are recorded. But it's important to be able to pause recording and not record during times when sensitive information might be being discussed. So that could be, financial information where PCI compliance requires, care around the handling of that, or other personal types of information. So in any case, there's a Teams app that's part of the solution, and what happens is when a call is in session, there will be an adaptive card that is displayed in Teams, which will give the Teams user the ability to pause and resume calling. In terms of configuration, as I mentioned, it's all done in the TeamMate provisioning portal. So as a service provider, you can enable the service for any user or for any group of users, as well as set the storage option, again, SharePoint or TeamMate Cloud, as well as the retention policy for recordings. Users and administrators access all recordings through a web application. So we support single sign-on with the Microsoft ID. And then access to the application is through a web application. In that web application, you can search for recordings, play back and download recordings. So this is a screenshot of the user interface. You'll notice at the top of the screen, there's a search bar that allows you to search for any of the recordings by name. So the name will be the Microsoft Teams username, since we're tied into the Microsoft API. We're able to search and show you that. At the bottom of the page, you'll see there's a player where you can start and stop playback. You can jump forward or backward in any call recording time frame. And my favorite feature is the speed control, where you can increase the speed of the playback, to 2 times or 1.5 times, or whatever your preference may be. I don't know if it's a result of the podcast world, where I listen to recordings on fast forward of podcasts, but it's very annoying to me these days when I have to listen to a recording at regular speed. So that's a nice feature. By design, we kept the first iteration of this product to the minimum feature set. As with all our products, we take feedback from customers, and we'll incorporate new features based on demand. But as of today, we have roadmapped out some higher value capabilities for the future, which would include video recording, chat recording, and AI call summary and sentiment analysis. Okay, so that covers the call recorder. I'm going to move on to the next product, which really I'm quite excited to talk about. This is probably not something you've thought about much, but chat federation, I think, is going to be a big deal in the future, and this is your chance to offer your customer base a really novel product that is quite sticky. Personally, the chat federation problem is something I've been thinking about solving, ever since online meetings started taking over our lives. Like most of us, I have Teams running on my desktop and mobile, of course, but I also have a slew of other chat applications, including Slack, because many of our partners are Slack users and not Teams users. And then, of course, SMS and WhatsApp, and even the internal messaging application on our phone system. I can't count the number of times a day that I'm searching through the different apps to try and find the specific conversation I'm looking for. It's really distracting and a productivity killer. But on top of that, just the fact that it's annoying for users, it's a real problem for IT departments that are forced to deal with the security and administrative issues that come along with all these apps. So to speak to that need, we created the Teams chat connector as a security-focused cross-platform collaboration tool that allows different chat communities to direct message directly with each other. Now, we're not planning to solve the federation problem in one fell swoop, but our vision is to expand the chat connector product to encompass all of the popular business messaging applications, and again to put control back in the hands of the IT department and the service provider, as well as being able to enhance the more traditional UCaaS offerings. So the use case for our first iteration of the product is as follows. Many organizations are team-centric, which is to say that they've standardized on Microsoft products and expect all their employees to use Teams for messaging. And today, for many organizations, Slack is a problem. As of 2025, Slack has 65 million monthly active users, and they say they expect to grow to 80 million monthly active users by the end of the year. And if you're a Slack user, as I am, you probably know that Slack users are very enthusiastic, maybe even fanatical about Slack. So companies often find themselves in a situation where, even though they've standardized on Microsoft Teams, a number of employees are using Slack for various reasons. Sometimes it's because the organization has, which is a Teams shop, has acquired another organization that's a Slack shop. Sometimes it's because the Slack users have a particular integration, something that's been built into Slack that they can't live without. For example, today, a lot of companies that are Salesforce users have a big incentive to use Slack because many of the new Salesforce features around AI, specifically their AI agents, are being built directly into the Slack interface. Whatever the case may be, what often happens is that these Slack users are left to their own devices, and the IT departments really don't pay much attention to them. This is not only inefficient, but it's also expensive because the organization now ends up paying for licenses for both platforms for these users, right? So, of course, they're paying for the Teams license because that's the standard. That's the standard for the company. They're also paying for Slack users for users that can't or don't want to live without Slack. So now with our Team Slack connector, users can live in their preferred application, but have the ability to chat seamlessly within the organization to the Teams users, or even with external partners that are using Teams. In terms of user features, the product supports channels, so that users from one side can be added to a group conversation on the other. It also supports rich text, emojis, and file transfers. And most importantly, for the IT department, it's controlled by the Teams administrator through the TeamMate provisioning portal, which means that the IT department can control who's using the integration and monitor and audit usage. So, this is, again, probably not something you think about very often, but, and it's only tangentially related to UCaaS per se. But if your organization currently supports Teams users in any way, then I would suggest that Chat Federation can be a profitable and sticky add-on to your service portfolio. Okay, so as I mentioned, our first iteration of the product is the Teams to Slack connector, but we've got plans to add other chat platforms as well. So on the roadmap are WebEx, Zoom, and WhatsApp. Of course, we'll be looking at customers and what customers are asking for as we plan these out and deploy. Okay, so moving along, last but not least, I'd like to talk about the third product in our lineup today, which is we're calling Operator Connect Express. For those who are not familiar with Operator Connect itself, I'll spend a minute talking about it. Basically, it's Microsoft's simplified way to integrate PSTN connectivity with Teams phone system. It's a more streamlined alternative to the prior integration option, which was known as direct routing. Direct routing was and is still a very complex system to manage. That is, if you don't have a partner with TeamMate. Of course, TeamMate offers our SIP trunk connector, which is direct routing as a service that removes a lot of that complexity from direct routing. But Operator Connect takes it a little bit further. It puts DID management capabilities right into the Teams Admin Center, which is the website that the enterprise administrators go to manage all things Teams within the organization. Now, when it first came out, Operator Connect was only available through certified telephone companies. And becoming certified was an expensive and resource-intensive process. But now, through our partnership with Scipio, any TeamMate customer can use Operator Connect to provision DIDs into the Teams Admin Center through our Operator Connect Express. So we call it Operator Connect Express because it's a little bit different from Operator Connect. This table highlights some of the differences. The most important difference is that you don't need to be a certified telephone company anymore to get access to the Operator Connect provisioning flow. Through our integration with Scipio, a user in the TeamMate provisioning portal can automatically just push the IDs into Teams Admin Center. But without that certification, Operator Connect Express customers do not have access to the marketing tile in the Teams Admin Center. And that's, we can debate the value of that. And if you've seen it, I guess, let me back up. So inside Microsoft Teams Admin Center, there's a section where you can see a list of certified telephone providers. Today, there's more than 150 of them. And essentially, it gives you a way, in theory, to order service directly from those providers using those tiles. In reality, many of those tiles aren't really automated at all, and it just takes you to a landing page. And so it's essentially a billboard with 150 different operators that are essentially selling the same commoditized SIP trunking service to Teams phone system users. So the value again of having that tile in Teams Admin Center is debatable, but with Operator Connect Express, it's not available. In my opinion, though, the real value of Operator Connect is not the marketing component of it. It's the fact that you don't need to have a global administrator grant any privileges when you provision phone numbers into Operator Connect. The fact that direct routing requires a global administrator is just a speed bump for service providers that are trying to sell PSTN connectivity services to organizations. And actually, in a lot of cases, we found IT departments will have made up their mind beforehand that they only want to work with Operator Connect providers because they don't want to share the global administrator permissions with outside entities, which is, of course, required for direct routing. So this is really where Operator Connect Express shines, because through our partnership with Scipio, we can give you the ability to get your DIDs into that Teams Admin Center without getting the enterprise global administrator involved. This capability is built into our provisioning portal today. You can go in, select any DID in the DID management table, and choose to route it using either our standard SIP trunk connector, which again is direct routing as a service. Again, I'll mention just for for posterity that our direct routing service automates and orchestrates away a lot of that pain that into direct routing. But it's not quite the same as Operator Connect. So today in our DID portal or DID management page, again, you can choose now to route the call to Teams using Operator Connect Express. And as I mentioned before, once that routing is complete, which happens almost immediately, then the DID is there in the Teams Admin Center where it can be managed by the organization's IT department. So we think that making this capability available to you is a valuable tool in your, effort to win Teams business. So when a Teams opportunity presents itself, you can meet that customer's needs in several ways. You can sell your own call control using our PBX connector. You can offer them SIP trunking services using our SIP connector and direct routing as a service. Or if it's the right fit, you can now offer them service using Operator Connect Express. So that's that covers the products at a high level. They're all available now. We're looking forward to helping you learn more and demo these products. If you're an existing customer, you can just open a ticket with TeamMate, and we'll make the services available in your partition. We're looking for early adopters. So to help that along, we're offering 90 days free for all users that are added during Q1. So, you add a user at the end of March, and we won't bill you for that user for an additional 90 days. I think that's quite a good thing. Eventually, though, when it comes time to bill you, we will need an addendum to our service agreement. So we have pricing established, and if you make a request, we can make that available to you. And then again, as with all our other services, the admin guides and help documents are available in our admin site. Appreciate everyone. Okay, so that covers the presentation part of the presentation. Do we have any questions?
We did get one question in the chat. It's Michael asked, how are these new components licensed? Michael, I don't know if you meant all three of them or just the chat connector. That's when that question came in. But yeah, Eric, how are these new components licensed? Is that something we can talk about today, or?
Yeah, so this is all as a service, and so there is a monthly fee for each of the different services. It will follow our standard, tiered pricing model. And again, that pricing matrix is available. If you make a request to your account exec, we'll get that to you right away.
And then we just got another kind of twofold. Oscar's asking if we can offer Teams call recording and chat connector a la carte without being the direct routing or Operator Connect provider.
That's a great question, Oscar. Yes, absolutely. All of our products are a la carte. So, pretty much everything we have can be offered on its own without any of the other products.
Sweet. And then part 2 is, will these 3 options be available either via Virtue or SkySwitch? And if so, how soon will they be available?
Well, so that's a more difficult question because, in the case of the 2 providers you mentioned, it's really up to them to decide when they want to make these new products available. But if you ask, we can try and move the ball forward.
Perfect. All right, those were the only questions in the chat right now. If you guys do have some, go ahead and get them into the chat or the QA section. And if there aren't any more, then we'll probably wrap up, but let's give it a couple minutes here for any last minute questions. Okay, and then so just open a ticket to get set up with Operator Connect Express.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Please.
No, question mark. Sorry. We just have to do that. Sorry.
Yes. Just open a ticket, and we'll set you up with a demo. Again, if you're accessing our services through a third party, then they will have to enable that for you. We will, of course, push that request along. Separately, though, if you'd like to, and I should have mentioned this first. Again, if you're not an existing customer, Or if you are an existing customer but would like a separate test account outside of your environment that you're currently in production with, you can just go to our website and there's a free trial button there. Fill out the form, and that will create a trial account for you, which you can use to demo any of the services. I will mention that if you do that, you'll need a different. If you do that, you can't have the same Microsoft organization, in the account, in your production account, and also being used in a new demo trial account. So you'll have to use a different Microsoft Enterprise for that purpose.
And Matt, yes, we are going to send. Oh, actually, that's a question for you, Eric. Are we going to be able to send out a copy of the presentation?
Absolutely, yes. We'll send everyone a copy.
Yes, we will. Perfect. And I just dropped in the chat the link to that free trial form on the TeamMate website. So if you go to the chat, you should be able to click through there. All right, Marie is asking, do we continue to use Teams Connector instead of Operator Connect since we are providing PBX service via another platform and using Direct Route currently?
Mm. So let me try and parse that. It's not clear at first reading. Um, well, so I will say that you can use any of our services in conjunction with another direct routing solution or another company's solution. What we do is, in our portal, when you want to enable one of our products for a user, we create a policy that applies only to that user. So it can live, in harmony with direct routes that you might have set up with another provider, or even maybe with your, if you're doing it with your own SBC. I hope that answered your question. If not, please ask again.
Okay, perfect. While that's simmering, let's go to Nick's question concerning the Operator Connect Express. He's asking or saying we still bring our own numbers and calls are still routed to the service provider platform, right? It's just that they show up natively in the Teams portal versus requiring PowerShelf.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Nick. Yeah, it's your own DIDs. Um, you know, the only difference is that they are populated into the Operator Connect portion of the Teams Admin Center.
Sweet. All right. Any other questions from our viewers? If not, I think it's about that time to wrap it up. We'll give a couple more seconds here for any last minute questions, but if you have any afterwards, of course, we'll get that follow-up email out. And you can reach out to Eric or whoever from TeamMate and they'll get you your answers too.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Stephanie. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day. We appreciate it, and we look forward to helping you learn more about our solutions.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Eric. This was awesome. We'll definitely get the recording out shortly and keep an eye out on your emails for the presentation and recording. And hope everybody has a great day.